But regardless of what you think about the Russian Revolution, the influence of events in Russia on revolutionary Ireland were enormous. On the 4th of February 1918, thousands of people gathered at the Mansion House on Dawson Street. The police estimate is 10,000 people to herald the birth of the new Russian Republic.
And to confuse things further, the first one is referred to as the February Revolution, and the second one is referred to as the October Revolution. The February Revolution took place in March, and the October Revolution took place in November. Now, I hope you're with me so far.
That a number of leading Bolsheviks had in fact visited Dublin in the aftermath of the 1916 Rising, including Ivan Maysky, who later became the Soviet Union's ambassador to Britain. And in April 1919, the very unlikely figure of Eamon de Valera called on Ireland to ready herself for a day, quote, when Europe might be run by councils of soldiers, workers and peasants.
Ultimately, the revolutionary forces renamed their party the Bolshevik Party, and eventually the Communist Party, to distinguish themselves from reformist elements who continued to use the names Social Democratic and Socialist. That's something that's continued to this day, 100 years on.
Lenin understood the significance of what had happened in Dublin, and he placed it within the context of the global British Empire when he wrote, quote, the struggle of the oppressed nations in Europe, the struggle capable of going all the way to insurrection and street fighting, capable of breaking down the iron discipline of the army and martial law, will sharpen the revolutionary crisis in Europe to an infinitely greater degree than a much more developed rebellion in some remote colony. A blow delivered against the power of the English imperialist bourgeoisie by a rebellion in Ireland is 100 times more significant politically than a blow of equal force delivered in Asia or in Africa.
There's echoes in this of Connolly's attitude and approach towards the 1916 Rising, taking advantage of the imperialist war to strike a blow for independence.
The Citizen Army had a very keen sense of internationalism during the War of Independence. On one occasion, they were actually inspected at Dolphin's Barn by Willie Gallagher, who was later a Communist Party MP at Westminster.
Within a few days, there was a decree on an 8-hour day. When people will talk to you here about all the joys we get and the so-called European Union and women's equality and social rights and everything else, the 8-hour day came from a bunch of mucky revolutionary workers in Russia in November 1917. That's where it came from. That's where it came from.
Big Jim Larkin's FBI file in April 1919 quotes Larkin himself as saying, the Soviet government of Russia is an ideal one and I'm ready to live for it, work for it, and if needs be, I'll die for it. Get ready, marshal your hearts and get a disciplined army.
The big landowners, they're the ones with the land. It's the younger brother who didn't get it. They want to go off and cause a bit of mischief and make a name for himself. Whether it's going out into Africa killing fuzzy wuzzies, as they call them, for the British Empire, or beating up the local Jewish people to foment a bit of sectarian hatred. I would say that's probably the main social composition of them, would be the junior landed gentry. The same as like the squirrelies that you had that made up an awful lot of the yeomanry here in 1798. I'd say fairly similar social composition.